My father indoctrinated me at 4 years old to love the Beatles. I mean, maybe it was before that. I can't really remember. I was, fucking 4. I do remember sitting in the back of my dad's car, just like listening to all the Beatles music, just over and over again. My sister would always sit in the front seat and she'd be chatting away with my dad about school or whatever was going on. I was just in my own little dream world, sitting in the back of the car, singing along to the Beatles, learning all the words and listening to all the harmonies. We would often watch the movies Help and Hard Day's Night, and I knew like every scene, every word. I still watch those movies regularly. I don't really remember life before the Beatles. I do remember at my preschool graduation, understanding we'd kind of be like on a little stage and thinking like, oh, I want to sing on that stage just like the Beatles sing on stage. Like obviously having no concept that a preschool graduation was not a gig and the Beatles weren't going to be there and I wasn't going to be able to sing with them. I just remember being in kindergarten, having my very first like show and tell, and I was just like begging my dad, like, please let me borrow your Walkman, because I'd like wanted to show my classmates the Beatles music. Like it was such a big thing for me. Of course they're gonna love it. And I weaved through all my little classmates sitting on the floor, like handing them the headphones so they could listen for like 2 seconds, just so they could experience that for the first time. Like I'm sure none of them cared at all, but I was really happy getting to share my favorite band. And of course my first crush was George Harrison. As a kid I was like, oh, I'm gonna marry him, I'm gonna marry George. And that didn't happen, sadly, but I did wind up marrying a tall, quiet British guitar player. So like manifesting? I'm not sure if that's how that works. But anyway, the Beatles music is just like intertwined with my DNA. Like, of course, I have a lot of love for tons of other amazing artists, genres, eras of music, but I always come back to the Beatles, and it just feels like home. I didn't just grow up listening to the Beatles, I grew up believing that I could be on that stage because they were. And I think that's a large part of why I make music. So my cover of Eleanor Rigby isn't really just a cover, it's very much a thank you to Paul McCartney. So if you grew up with the Beatles too, please help me get this to Paul.